Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome back to the Explainer. Have you ever wondered what happens when a simple borderland is proposed to literally transform into Europe's high-tech AI-driven defense fortress? Today, we're unpacking a really radical blueprint developed by PODSTAWOWE, the Elem Academy, and founder Oleg v. Boichun. It's a massive, comprehensive strategy aiming to completely reshape Eastern Europe. They call it the AGI Eden project, or the creation of a Carpathian technological Sparta. So let's unpack exactly what that means. Now, I know this is an incredibly dense, visionary geopolitical blueprint, but don't worry, we're going to break it down step by step. We'll quickly run through the new European reality, the Centaur state model, why they chose the Carpathians, Eden as an operating system, the physical skeleton and nervous system, and finally, shielding the three Cs. All right, part one, a new European reality. Let's look at the post-2022 shifts. To really grasp this proposal, we have to acknowledge the massive geopolitical earthquake that happened after 2022. The old rules of European security completely shattered. This forces us to pose a critical question right out of the gate. What happens when a borderland becomes a fortress? The source texts argue that the old model of just being a buffer state is totally obsolete. In an era of algorithm-driven conflicts, simply sitting between two powers is no longer a survival strategy. You need active, systemic resilience. And this brilliantly illustrates the shift. Before 2022, the EU largely viewed the Carpathian border regions as, just a space for logistics, transit, maybe some tourism. But this new vision completely flips the script. The proposal outlines transforming the region into a highly mechanized defense shield, an AI hub for dual-use technology, defense innovation, energy independence, and climate security. It's a leap from being a simple transit corridor to an intellectual and defensive core. Moving right along to part two, the Centaur state model. So what exactly is a Centaur state? As defined in the documents, it's a fascinating hybrid sovereign model. Think of it like a giant puzzle. It merges the rigid, mobilized architecture of a fortress, a European synthetic data fortress built for sheer national survival, with the open, experimental agility of a frontier for deep tech innovation. The sources are very clear here. This model deliberately avoids both Chinese-style digital centralization and Western techno-libertarianism. Instead, it uses technology to directly amplify human agency. Which brings us to technological Sparta. This concept takes that Centaur state idea and applies it to actual governance. The proposal argues for ripping out slow, traditional bureaucracy and replacing it with algorithmic speed and sovereign computing. It's a model where intense defense mobilization and rapid autonomous innovation are tightly knit together. We're talking about a state that reacts to threats in microseconds, not months. Section 3, why the Carpathians? Let's look at the geography. Out of all the places in Europe, why this specific region? Well, the proposal positions the Carpathians as the ultimate geographic linchpin. By utilizing trans-Carpathian partnership programs, it transforms this area into a smart infrastructure hub. It creates a specific Carpathian security corridor for R&D and dual-use tech, acting as a secure industrial cloud. Essentially, it upgrades the existing Via Carpathia logistics route into a heavily fortified high-tech backbone for all of Eastern Europe. Now for part 4, Eden, the operating system. This is where the digital architecture comes in. 300. That is the exact number of autonomous AI agents proposed to literally run Eden, which stands for the European Digital Ecosystem Network. You heard that right. The U-Nation model actually suggests replacing traditional, slow-moving political structures with 300 specialized artificial intelligence agents, all acting together as a macro-regional operating system. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how these agents are deployed. They're distributed across 10 strategic directions, with 30 agents per sector. You have AI agents hunting cyber threats, agents dynamically routing energy from smart grids, agents managing autonomous drone factories, and even agents handling synthetic education. They communicate via instant vector cross-linking. So if the agrotech sector suddenly needs more power, it instantly queries the energy sector, making allocation decisions in fractions of a second. No red tape, just pure algorithmic efficiency. Which brings us to Section 5, skeleton and nervous system. Let's ground this in physical infrastructure. This visionary digital brain needs a physical body, right? The plan proposes a dual structure managed by a central project management office. On one side, the State Research Institute of Building Constructions, or NDIBK, provides the structural skeleton. They handle underground infrastructure, protected objects, and resilience engineering. On the other side, the Institute of Semiconductor Physics, IFN, acts as the nervous system. They provide the sensor networks, photonics, and edge computing. When you combine NDIBK's physical skeleton with IFN's nervous system, you create what the sources call an environmental digital twin. This is parametric planning architecture at its absolute peak. It means every single physical bunker, power grid, or logistics route has a live digital replica. AI can run continuous combat simulations on this twin, detect vulnerabilities instantly, and automatically trigger responses. It's literally hyper-resilient engineering brought to life. Finally, Section 6, Shielding the 3 Cs. Let's zoom back out to the macro level.
So the crucial point is that this isn't just an isolated local project. It leverages those trans-Carpathian partnership programs to build a massive geopolitical shield. While it starts with the 3 Cs initiative in Lublin, the ultimate architectural vision proposed by the Democratic Forum of the Carpathian Sea is an expansion to 4 Cs, creating a unified security corridor stretching all the way from Oslo down to Istanbul. Poland acts as the logistical gateway, while Ukraine serves as the frontier defense tech laboratory.
And the documents lay out a very clear 10-year strategic roadmap. Starting right around the corner in 2026, Phase I launches the AGI Eden framework. This is actually designed to be a flagship strategic framework for the Ukrainian Cluster Alliance and the upcoming AI and Defense Summit in 2026. By 2029, Phase II scales up defense AI industrialization. Phase III integrates the smart grid, and by 2035, the ultimate goal, transforming this entire region into the undisputed AI defense core of Europe. I want to highlight this quote from the source material because it really hits the nail on the head regarding the ultimate goal. The old world of rules has ended. Ukraine is building a state strong enough to survive a blow and free enough to invent the future. It's a bold declaration. Survival now requires moving way beyond simply catching up to the West. It requires actively inventing the next era of civilizational resilience. Which leaves us with this final provocative thought to consider. As the lines between military planning, artificial intelligence, and state governance continue to blur, can this model of algorithmic governance truly build the ultimate Eastern Shield? It's an absolutely radical vision for the Carpathian region, and whether fully realized or not, it fundamentally changes how we think about the future of European security. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning the future.